is a student here at Millard North High School. He's an IB diploma candidate, and I learned some really fun things about him throughout the semester in preparation for today. We've been meeting since like maybe September, October, and he not only is an avid and active and incredible member of the forensics team here, he has a full course load. He does research at UNMC, correct? On the side, been in the lab like all last week and the week prior to. Super engaged. But here's some fun things that I recently learned. He's also I think the word fanatic was used, an NBA fanatic, and is a self-proclaimed rap producer. Yes. Would you help me welcome Raul?
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Cool. So, being in my 11th year of education, I've heard more than enough times the benefits of making a good first impression on your teachers. I've learned that while everyone else slacks off and reminisces over summer nights during the first few weeks of school, I have an opportunity to claim my rightful throne, not as the teacher's pet, but as the teacher's favorite student. In fact, this ideology has become so ingrained into me that it's become standard operating procedure for the past several years. Until this year, once I finally realized that one's relationship with their teacher should not be based in charm or obedience, but should rather be based in thoughtfulness and genuine conversation. So, I've decided that in order to make the best out of my time with all of you, I better share some experiences as to how I came to this realization and what a student-teacher relationship means to me. Because no matter how smart, how enthusiastic, how dedicated both a student and teacher are, true learning will only take place once an authentic relationship has been established. So there I was, Pine Bush Elementary School in Albany, New York, on a late September morning in 2009. An 8-year-old Rahul meets Miss Doak, the third grade long-term substitute teacher for Miss. Miss Doak and I hit it off right away. She sparked an interest for math and science in me. I loved speaking to her in Spanish, and we were both avid UAlbany basketball fans, even to a point where she signed me up for our school's 3-point shooting contest and came in at 7:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning to come and watch me play. I spent the rest of that semester learning, growing, and becoming best friends with my classmates and my teacher. But when I came back, that all changed. Suddenly, getting the wrong answer became a mistake instead of a learning experience, and creative lessons turned to lectures. Mrs. Cipriano even accused me of not actually reading my independent reading book and placed me on a completely unnecessary guided reading program. She claimed to be worried about my academic standing, but was really making excuses to marginalize my academic abilities. So after I scored in the 99th percentile on all of my third grade standardized tests, still pretty proud of that, I had a conversation with her, essentially letting her know that maybe she shouldn't have been so hard on me over the school year. And although it didn't seem like a big deal at the time, I now understand how influential this experience of having two completely polarizing teachers over the course of 1 year is to my idea of a student-teacher relationship. When I was in the presence of a teacher who accepted me for exactly who I was, I felt special. And I felt like I was walking into a safe space every morning. But when in the presence of a teacher who openly acknowledged her dislike for me, I began to feel timid and unwanted. So as a student who has been able to witness such an unusual contrast over the course of 1 year, I can firmly say that the way my teachers treated me and regarded me has had a major impact on whether or not I felt it was necessary to wake up to go to school every morning. I went to Keynote Middle School. Shout out to all the Keynote Middle School teachers. And as a part of the 7th grade science curriculum, each student is required to complete a full science fair project, starting with a question and hypothesis and turning it into a full-fledged poster with data, methods, materials, and a conclusion to the question that was initially asked. So being the overly enthusiastic student that I was back in the 7th grade, I decided to ask my parents to take me to a lab at the University of Nebraska Medical Center and help me do a project there. Sure enough, I won the science fair that year, but it wasn't merely because of my topic or the fact that I went to a real lab to collect data. It was because of how effectively I was able to communicate my ideas. And the person who taught me that was none other than Mrs. Howe, my 7th grade science teacher. Since then, I've competed at science fairs across the state of Nebraska, and I'm extremely proud to say that I qualified to the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair in Los Angeles last year. I currently do neuroscience research at a lab at UNMC and plan to major in biological sciences when I go to college in a few years, which happens to be the same field in which I did my 7th grade science project, all coordinated by none other than my 7th grade science teacher. The reason I tell this story is because it encapsulates how much of an influence my past teachers have had on my future. If I had never had such a dedicated and enthusiastic teacher while I completed my science fair project, I never would have found my passion for biology, and I never would have learned the skill of effectively communicating scientific research. So over the course of your teaching careers, find the students on whom you can have a lasting impact on. Because if there's one lesson I've learned from that experience, it's that you could be the people who allow the next potential Einstein to realize that they're the next potential Einstein. It would simply be improper for me to deliver a speech to a group of teachers about the important teachers in my life without talking about the teachers who made me the speaker that I am. I wouldn't be able to do this without the help of the following instructors. And it's through them that I've learned the importance of speaking ability in today's world. I am a proud member of the forensics team at Millard North High School, and Miss Sabrina Dennybull is my main coach. I've been in her class for 3 years now, and I can say that I've learned more in it than any other class I've taken at high school. Miss Dennybull is organized, fair, caring, laughs at the jokes in my speeches, and really hates it when I go overtime. She has guided me from speaking at a rate of 200 words per minute to half that, and has taught me what it means to be a part of a team more than any other instructor I've ever had. She's crafted me into a confident, thoughtful, and decently slow speaker. And I cannot thank her enough for what she has done for me over the past few years. And I must send another shout out to Mr. Matt Elledge for doing much the same. When a coach is willing to help you with your speech from 8:30 to 9:30 p.m. on 1 hour's notice the night before a 5-hour drive for a competition in Minnesota, I think it's safe to say they're dedicated. And seeing that passion in Mr. Elledge only motivated me to match it with my competitive fire. I now stand here as a Nebraska State Tournament qualifier, octafinalist at the National Individual Events Tournament of Champions National Tournament, and quarterfinalist at the National Speech and Debate Association's National Tournament, all in original oratory, all in my sophomore year. And it would not have been possible without the help of them. My relationship to my teachers has gotten to a point where I don't feel like I'm working for them or for anyone else. The only person I'm competing with is myself now. And that feeling of being in charge of my own well-doing and having a knowledgeable and reliable guide in my teachers to help me through the process of communicating ideas and developing them is what makes school worth the struggle for me. Because school isn't easy. In fact, this past semester has been the hardest on my life by far. But my teachers are the ones who've helped me preserve my academic standing, my interest in various subjects, and to a large degree, my mental health. So if there's one message worth leaving you all with, it's this. Your job is one of the most important ones out there. You're spending every hour of every day in the presence of the future of the world. So make the most of it. Because as Henry Adams once said, a teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops.
Would you take just a minute? What did you identify with? What's resonating with you? What might you marinate throughout the day from what Raul shared with us? And talk at your table.